How are you today, everyone? We are so glad that you're here. You know, it's Conference Directors Week at Marketers on a Mission. Each day this week, we're diving deep into one Christian Writers or Christian Speakers Conference. Today's is a little bit different. We're talking about a convention, a Christian media convention. If you're associated with a digital or a print evangelical periodical, or you'd like to be, today's program is just for you. Hi, I'm Patricia Durgan, and this is Marketers on a Mission. We present marketing tutorials and interviews by and for Christian writers, speakers, and artists. This is episode number 238, Evangelical Press Association's Christian Media Convention with Executive Director Lamar Keener. Hello, Lamar. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for the invitation.
We're very glad to have you. Tell us, for some of us, we've heard about Evangelical Press Association. That's sort of a vague, presence in our extended knowledge. Tell us a little bit about that. Educate us on the EPA and what they do and how they serve us and why we should care about the convention, Lamar.
EPA, the other EPA we like to say, Evangelical Press Association, has been around since 1948. And was founded by many of the leaders of the evangelical movement back in the 1940s, including Billy Graham. And but it's just a group of Christian-based magazines, newspapers, newsletters, nowadays digital magazines or websites, all who have the same common denominator of sending a message of the gospel in various ways. Our membership includes denominational magazines for these Assemblies of God, for all kinds of Baptists and Presbyterians and Lutherans. You name the denomination, probably their magazine is a member of our organization. Many of our members are organizations such as World Vision, Sojourners, Focus on the Family. In fact, Focus on the Family has 6 memberships for all their different magazines. Most of them are print. Some of them are digital only. Boundless.org, one of Focus's magazines, is only on the internet. And so that's why you said it earlier, we're print and digital. Doesn't matter. In some cases, our members are, for example, the NRB, National Religious Broadcasters, their newsletter is, their e-newsletter is a member of the organization. So basically, if you have content that you're trying to get to a Christian audience, or you're Christian-based, that's who's a part of EPA. Okay,
that's a very thorough and informative answer. Covered it very well. Excuse me. We have some comments already. Mary Lester is here. She says, hello, Patricia. Welcome, Lamar. We have some other comments. Let's see. Christy Harain is here. Hi there. She says, mercy, how exciting. A session right down my journalism alley. Michael Faust is here. He says, thanks.
Michael's a great friend.
You're very welcome, Michael. We're glad to have you today. Let's see now. We've talked about, let's go over the nuts and bolts of the convention, please. And we'll just get those sort of, definitely cover them and then move on because there's so much good content that we want to cover today. And we've got 55 more minutes to get it done. The viewers, the name of the conference, once again, is Evangelical Press Association's Christian Media Convention. The dates are April the 7th through the 9th. The registration opens on Sunday at 1 p.m., and the opening session is Sunday at 4:30 p.m. And then it closes. Of course, it runs all day Monday, all day Tuesday until Tuesday dinner. And then after the dinner, it is over. The location is at the Sheraton Hotel, downtown Oklahoma City. It's actually there at the hotel. That's their venue. You would, if you're flying, you would fly into Will Rogers World Airport. Now, Lamar, is there a deadline to register? Do you take walk-ins? Do you sell out every year? What's the status of that?
We'll take walk-ins, but there's a pre-registration deadline of March 15. It coincides with the deadline to book your room at the hotel at the EPA rate. So March 15 is a date that you want to get registered by. After that, the rate goes up $50, up until walk-in. But you may or may not get a room at the hotel, and it may or may not be at a very good price.
And we're familiar with that. If you've ever gone to a conference of any kind for personal or business, you know that everybody has those deadlines so that they can keep up with what's going on and move on and have regular business past that certain point. Let's see that now the 50 extra dollars. I was thinking that the $380 for the members is early bird prices.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So early bird price for members, we're going to cover what a member is in just a second. Lamar has already hinted at that. The early bird prices for a member, for an individual member, is $380. It's a crazy, ridiculously reasonable price for 2.5 days of fantastic teaching and networking. If you're a non-member and you're an individual, it's $445. If you're a member and you're bringing 2 or more people from the same organization, it's $345. So you bring more people, the rate is reduced until March 15th, as Lamar just mentioned. And then all of the rates increased $50.
Yes.
Also, I noticed that you will allow people to come in on only one of the 2 days, Monday or Tuesday.
They can choose Monday only or Tuesday only, and we always have a few people that it works best for their schedule to do that, or there's one particular thing they really want to get to, and so those rates are available as well. And we encourage students to come. We already have a dozen students registered, and we've had as high as 32 at a convention. We have a lot of great things for students. And so there's a student price that basically covers the cost of meals. That's pretty much what it covers.
And what age ranges are those? Are they anywhere in the group?
Typically college students. They're journalism students, and most of the time they're coming from Christian colleges with journalism programs. John Brown University is bringing a group this year. Cal Baptist always brings a group. Corbin University, Biola, Cedarville, Bethel Seminary. All of these are all schools. Liberty has sent students in the past. So a lot of schools are involved in bringing students.
I also noticed that there's another reduced rate, and that's for spouses. So that's a really handy thing, because not every conference or a convention offers a reduced rate for the spouse.
We do that. My wife and I were taking advantage of that for 30 years coming to this convention, and because the spouse rate was always a little lower than even the group rate. But we do that for those spouses who want to be involved.
Excuse me. Viewers, the conference fee includes 2 lunches and 2 dinners. And there's a question about maybe breakfast on Monday, but
there will be a breakfast on Monday, and there's still a possibility of a breakfast on Tuesday.
Oh,
if it happens, it's there. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So we look for sponsors for our breakfasts. And if we find sponsors for it, then we do it.
Oh, okay. That's a perfect way to do it. Yeah. Good. So you also offer something that for Christian writers conferences and Christian speakers conferences, we often have the additional opportunity to have a one-on-one appointment and with an expert, and they tell us, how we can develop our platform or answer questions or any number of different things. And you offer something very similar at the convention. Tell us about the person-to-person consultation and the fee for that, please.
We've been doing this for many years, and it's basically a peer-to-peer consultation. A magazine says they want someone to look at what they're doing and offer them suggestions. And so they'll pay $100, and it goes into our scholarship fund. The consultant that they're talking to is doing it as a volunteer. They don't get anything of it. So the $100 goes to the scholarship fund for journalism students. And then the magazine will send a couple of copies of these in advance to the person before the convention so they can look it over. And then at the convention, they meet face-to-face for about 30 minutes. Oftentimes it goes much longer than that, but it's designed to be about a 30-minute consultation to talk about what they're doing well, where they can improve, and some ideas and so forth. That has been we always have a number of people who do that each year.
I'm assuming so. That's a great offer right there.
Now, I don't have it on the website yet because I haven't confirmed it, but I think this year we're going to also be able to offer a digital consultation, social media, digital presence. We've got a guy who's coming to the convention. He's actually going to be doing a session, and his background, his name is Jeremy Burton, and he worked with the Museum of the Bible and ran their social media campaign before they opened a couple of years ago. Now he's with the Voice of the Martyrs, and he's doing a session on social media, And I think that we're going to be able to get him to do a couple of these consultations if people want to sign up for that.
Those, you can learn something in those private sessions that can make the entire convention worth the cost, can't they?
Absolutely.
So let's see the Sunday schedule. I'm going to run through, viewers. I'm going to run through the schedule quickly. But before I get very far, Lamar, the exhibitors set up on Sunday at 9 a.m. So what are the exhibitors exhibiting, please?
We have two kinds of exhibitors or sponsors. We have those who are vendors. They want our business. So printing companies, subscription fulfillment companies, some kind of services that they provide. It could be web services, whatever. So they provide services that they want us to buy from them. Mm-hmm. The other kind are what we call those who want our ink. The vendors want our dollars. Then there's those who want our ink. They want us to write about them and to know about them. Oh. And so these are often nonprofit organizations who will come and want to gain exposure in front of our group and hopefully get some feature stories out of it. An example would be movies. Every year we have one or two movies that are coming out new. They will sponsor the event, and then they will screen the movie during the event. And then, of course, their goal is to get us to write reviews on the movie and I don't want to say promote it, but to get the word out about it. Mm-hmm. And this year we have one movie already called Breakthrough that will be screened. And usually we screen them at the hotel. This year we're downtown. We're just a few blocks from the Harkins Theater. We're actually going to go to the theater and have the screening there.
With popcorn, maybe.
Maybe with popcorn. I'm sure the concessions will be open and you can spend your $10
on one Coca-Cola.
Popcorn and a Coke.
As I understand it, there's a tentative movie planned for Sunday and a definite movie, Breakthrough.
Yeah, we have it scheduled for Sunday, but we're still working on the details of trying to get another one filled in there yet.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So, viewers, the registration opens on Sunday at 1 p.m., and then there's a general session at 4:30, dinner at 6, and then maybe not, a movie screening. That's Sunday. Now, that's
there will be something that night. If there's not a movie, we have something else up our sleeves that we're going to do.
Okay.
I'm not going to say what it is in case it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Wise. You've done this before, haven't you? Then on Monday morning, bright and early, 7:15, breakfast. There's a forum at 8:15 that I want to really dig into that. So can I loop back to that, mention it now and loop back to that, Lamar?
Sure. It's your show. You can do whatever you like.
Well, you're the guest. You're the highlight. There's a forum at 8:15 in the morning, and it is definitely worth getting up for. Both Monday and Tuesday, there's a forum early in the morning, and then there's a workshop. There workshop, then lunch, then Feed the Children program. Tell us about what that's all about.
Feed the Children is going to bring in backpack supplies. And we are going to make assembly lines. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work, but we're going to assemble backpacks with supplies for needy kids. Nice. And our goal is 1,000 of them in 1 hour. We've got 1 hour to do it, and they said our size group should be able to do it. And these will go to needy children, mostly within the Oklahoma area.
Oh, okay.
And so they actually, while they're an international organization, this particular project works well to be done in a local setting.
I see.
And so we have never done a service project before at EPA, at least not in, I've been going for 30 years. So this is a first. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go, but I'm real excited about it. Just a chance. It's actually twofold. It's a chance for us to do something for others, but it's also a networking opportunity for us to get to know each other. Sure. So many times we're sitting, listening, we don't have a lot of time for interaction. This will be kind of a fun experience where we can be kind of talking and getting to know people in our assembly lines, putting together these backpacks.
Really, everybody wins in the whole sequence.
I think so.
That's nice. Excuse me. Judy Gordon Morrow is here. She says, I appreciate hearing this information today. Thanks so much for being here. It's good to have you, Judy, as always. Then later you're going to have, after the project, if there's any, to Feed the Children backpack group project, if there's any energy left, if you can calm everybody back down, then you're going to have an awards, the higher goals award, part 1. Who gets those? How's that determined? Is that already, I'm sure, pre-decided?
Yes, we're big on awards. We had over 1,200 entries into our annual contest. And the Higher Goals contest is where you submit a single article, an editorial, or an article series, a candid photo, a single photo. It's individual pieces from your publication, and they get judged by expert judges. And so the awards presentation is where we hand out these awards. So on Monday afternoon, we will do mostly writing awards. We have Student Writer of the Year, we have freelance writing, we have humor writing, we have fiction writing, all kinds of awards. And then on Tuesday afternoon, we do mostly the design awards. Okay. Use of photographs, illustrations, cartoons, 2-page spreads, things like that. So that's what's happening with the Higher Goals. And since we're on awards, so the presentation is where we announce the winners. The judges are actually judging them right now. And then in April at the convention, we announce who the winners are.
Well, I was going to ask you, with 1,200 entries, and that there may be more if you allow more, you got to have a lot of lead time to look at all those pieces of individual content. So you've already notified people months ago that they need to submit.
Right. Well, the submission is in, the deadline was January 18.
Okay.
So, and most people wait till the last week. Even though we give them 2 months, they wait till the last minute. And that's just the way it is. And so 75% of the entries came within the last 4 days.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So it's pretty crazy. But all the entries are in by January 18. And then it goes to the judges. The judges have till February 28 to make their judgments. And then the month of March, a guy named Danny Kahn out of Nashville, he and his wife, they put together the presentations. And they print all the certificates and get everything ready. It's quite a job. And then at the convention, then we have a PowerPoint presentation where we throw up the pictures of the winners and who they are. You get your name announced. Everybody likes to hear their name announced. Mm-hmm. And that's how it goes.
It sounds fun and educational as well. Jenny McKenna here. She says that, I love the backpack assembly line idea. That's really just a great idea, particularly for a large group of people like that who, as you say, basically are sitting around together. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, and so then also after the awards on Monday, from 3 o'clock on is free time up until the potential movie screening. Or yes. Is that the definite one? Is that the definite?
That's a definite one. Does it still say potential on the website?
No, it's my interpretation.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we do things and then forget to update the website.
3 o'clock on Monday afternoon is free time until the movie screening.
Yeah.
And when they screen that movie, do they ask you for feedback as a group? Do they give you a little piece of paper to fill out? Do you vote? What kind of information do they want from you?
Usually some major people connected with the movie will be there. Sometimes we have had some high-level actors show up to talk about the movie, or the producers. It all depends. But usually somebody from the movie production will be there and to say words and then to answer questions. And then they show the movie. And there usually isn't any feedback at that point. The idea is that people will then write about it afterwards.
Okay. That is their feedback response, isn't it?
Right, yes.
That makes sense. Excuse me. On Tuesday, a similar schedule with a few variations. So there's breakfast again, another forum at 8:15. We're going to loop back to that as well. That has 4 presenters. Monday's forum has 2 presenters. Tuesday's forum has 4. Then there's break, workshop, lunch. Then part 2 of the awards. Yeah. Then the afternoon. And that Tuesday there'll be 2 afternoon workshops. Then the dinner, and then it will close. But you've got something interesting on your website about the purpose of the 4 presenters. The second forum on Tuesday morning, biblical literacy, And you mentioned on the website that is EPA's Cause of the Year. Can you elaborate on that for us, please?
Yes. Cause of the Year is part of our contest. The board designates a cause each year of a certain subject that they would like members to publish stories about. It's not a requirement, it's just an optional thing. And so we have done all kinds of things, from pro-life to poverty to this year it's children in crisis. Well, this year we're awarding children in crisis, and next year it's going to be biblical literacy. And so it's just something that we want our people to write about. So the forum on biblical literacy will be to help people as they think about what they're going to write about this year.
Oh.
And it'll be judged next year. Okay. So this year's Cause of the Year that they're being awarded was from last year, and it was children in crisis.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that's what Cause of the Year is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. That makes sense. So let's talk about these two forums on Monday morning at 8:15. It's the first thing of the morning after breakfast, and a really impactful story. Pastor Andrew Brunson was a missionary to Turkey for 25 years. He was later imprisoned and eventually released after just, was it 2 years he was released?
He was in prison for 2 years and just released in October.
Okay, there's so many questions that I have in my mind about this story, so will you just tell us what you want us to know about that?
Well, of course, Andrew was an American missionary, planting churches, doing training, ministering to refugees for 23 years with his wife over there in Turkey. And he's just from a small town in North Carolina, kind of a laid-back guy as I've started to get to know him a little bit. But all of a sudden, he just out of nowhere got arrested, charged with espionage. They said he was a secret CIA agent. The crazy thing about it is, if you understood his personality, that was farthest from the truth possible. He's such a laid back, kind of a quiet guy. And so he and his wife were both thrown in prison. She was only in for a couple of weeks. They let her go. And then I don't know all the circumstances of his release, but I know there was a major prayer movement last year going on throughout the country, and I think a lot of the President Trump's White House efforts, they finally got him out last October. So he's only been out 3 months, not even 3 months yet.
So he's that Andrew Brunson.
He's that Andrew Brunson.
Wow.
And aside from the story of him being released, we've not heard much from him since then. He is in the process of writing a book. That'll be out from Baker Publishing next fall, and they weren't sure if they wanted him to do this or not, but they finally agreed to do it under some certain circumstances. The nature of the session is going to be an interview by Dean Nelson. Dean is a journalism professor at Point Loma Nazarene University in San Diego. And he is also an extremely highly experienced and qualified interviewer. Mm-hmm. He, at Point Loma, they do the Symposium by the Sea each year, and they have many major writers come in, and he interviews them on stage live in front. So this is what we're going to do. It's going to be a live, real-life interview with a guy who writes books on how to interview. And the story will be compelling because it'll be Andrew Brunson's story. So it'll be a very fascinating, I think this will probably be the highlight of our convention, is this live stage interview, and to hear Andrew Brunson's story, which to my knowledge has not yet been told in a public setting.
Oh, wow. So even though you're not looking for a coup, it sounds like this could be a coup. It
could be, except there are some restrictions on what our people will be allowed to do with the interview because of certain circumstances.
And Dean Nelson is even going to have a workshop later.
Yes.
On the same type of, how to interview people. I think I've got the title. We'll get to that in a little bit, but he knows what he's talking about, doesn't he?
He knows what he's talking about. He has a brand new book coming out. I think it's next week. You can already find it on Amazon, but it's called Talk to Me, How to Ask Better Questions, Get Better Answers, and Interview Anyone Like a Pro. And so it's going to be a major release through HarperCollins. He just knows how to do it. And so after people can watch the live interview, then he will do a session teaching the basics of interviewing.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming we'll have some Q&A time as well.
Then they can buy the book, and so they have it in all the various spheres, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Nice. I've already made a note of the title of the book because I like to interview people as well. Let's see. Michael,
I think that's what you're doing right now.
I hope so. Michael Faust says that's a big deal to get Brunson there. Really, really cool. Mary Lester says Andrew Brunson will be there to be interviewed. So she's thinking, she's pondering and thinking. Judy Gordon-Morrow says, oh, how I wish I could hear that interview. I prayed for Andrew's release, and I had the privilege of meeting Dean Nelson at the Mount Hermon Christian Writers Conference a few years ago. Judy also says, glad to hear about.
What I was going to say is the interview was not going to be recorded.
Oh.
And so there's no way to hear it unless you're there.
But you can go for one day.
You can go for one day.
You're going to go for just one day if you want to. And she lives in not too far, relatively speaking, from Oklahoma City. So put your thinking cap on, Judy. That's Mondays. Morning session from 8:15 on. Tuesday, we just talked about this for a second, just touched on this. Tuesday's morning session is going to be presented by 4 different presenters, and they are...
This is an amazing lineup. This is an amazing group of 4 people.
Bill Crowder from Our Daily Bread, Esteban Fernandez from Biblica, Mark Free from Every Tribe, Every Nation, and Brian Russell from YouVersion. Where did you get all these people?
Well, 2 of them came from Oklahoma City.
Well,
one of them's a college friend.
Nice.
And so let's start with Bill Crowder.
Yes.
Bill and I ran against each other for student body president at Liberty University. It was called Liberty Baptist College. We won't say how long ago.
Yeah.
But suffice to say, we both have gray hair. His is actually almost white. But Bill travels the world for Our Daily Bread in teaching Bible conferences. He is the voice of the Our Daily Bread radio broadcast, and he writes a number of the devotionals in that Our Daily Bread devotional. So that's a great one. Mm-hmm. Esteban Fernandez is with Biblica, which is the International Bible Society. They are sponsoring our biblical literacy cause of the year for this next year. And so part of that sponsorship was that they could send somebody to speak as well on the subject. And so Esteban is the Latin American director for Biblica.
Okay.
So he'll be there. Mark Green is part of the Green family of Hobby Lobby. In fact, he is the ministry investment officer for Hobby Lobby. He's also the founder and president of the Mardell Supply Stores, which is a different chain from Hobby Lobby. We don't have any where I live, so I've never been in one. Mm-hmm. But he runs that store, and then he's also a part of the Every Tribe, Every Nation Alliance. This is a group that works to eradicate Bible poverty, so to speak. And they released films in the past 10 or 15 years from The Gates of Splendor and End of the Spear, both about the missionaries killed in Ecuador back in the 50s. So to have somebody from the Green family, from the Hobby Lobby Museum of the Bible folks is great as well to have there. Mm-hmm. Brian Russell is the executive director of YouVersion. Most of us have YouVersion on our mobile phones. Mm-hmm. They're based there in Oklahoma City. And so we're thrilled that they were able to get somebody to come over there. So these 4 gentlemen, and I wish we could have had a lady on this panel. I've already got some comments about our all-male panel here. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know what? I tried, but sometimes it doesn't work. But this is a terrific panel. Each of them will speak about their perspective on biblical literacy, what they're doing about it, and their suggestions as to what our people could do about it in writing and how you could write about this subject.
Okay.
So they'll each have about 10 to 12 minutes. It'll be kind of like a TED Talk. They're going to get up, bang, 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 and it's kind of go like that. And then Bill Crowder will come back later. I think it's over the same day. And he's going to do a session on how to write devotionals.
Yes. The workshops are phenomenal. The titles are so tantalizing. We're going to get to those in just a minute, viewers.
When you take a commercial break, don't we have commercial breaks here?
Maybe someday. Judy Morrow lives in California. I'm sorry I forgot. But still, compared to Atlanta, Oklahoma City is closer to California.
Exactly. Yes.
There's my point. Christy Robinson Horion says, okay, I've read your code of ethics and your statement of beliefs, and I agree with both. I'm an award-winning freelance journalist from Kentucky. I would qualify for an associate membership with the EPA. Why should I join? So far, this is a lengthy. Why should I join? ? So far, I am freelancing in the secular market. That market has honestly and literally shrunk for me since I have been careful about the nature and subject of the stories I cover. What kind of difference will EPA make in my writing life? This is a great question, Christy. We're so glad you're here to ask it. She's saying, please know my heart. She's not trying to be, pushy or selfish. She's just trying to figure out what to do with her freelance funds.
That's an excellent question, and probably the best thing would be the networking that comes from being an associate member, particularly if she can come to a convention. Mm-hmm. Freelancers that we have 50 to 60 freelancers. Those that are able to get to the conventions, they find the greatest value and the connections they make there. One of our freelancers from Canada who came about 12 years ago, she got a job from that first convention that paid for her trip, and she has gotten jobs. And the connections she made them has pretty much exploded her freelance career. Now, she's also very good. Yeah. Not every freelancer is going to get that because, first of all, you got to be good at your craft, and then you got to get discovered, and then you go from there. But, if this lady's been working in the secular community, I presume she's good. The Christian community probably doesn't pay as well. That's my guess. But if you can deal with that, there's a lot of business out there if you make those connections.
Michael also has a comment as well. Back to Christy, he says, I can chime in here a bit. I'm a freelancer also and an associate member, which is what she would be. Yeah. Here is why I'm a member: edification and encouragement. Number 2, networking with people. Number 3, I'm learning about all kinds of stuff. That's the technical term. Of course, the awards are cool when you win one of those 2, but that's not the biggest reason. There is a freelance table at the conference where freelancers can meet maybe potential clients. So that's really nice.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to find them in a crowd. You just go to the table. Okay. I would like that. Yeah, that would be nice.
So I have to add this about Michael. Last year, and I don't remember exactly, out of more than 60 entries in one of the writing categories, Michael was first place. First place out of more than 60 categories.
Woo! That's pretty cool, Michael. Congratulations to you. Are you going to do the same thing this year? Are you?
We'll see. I don't know. I wouldn't tell.
So tell us about the 3 keynoters. Of course, we've got Andrew Brunson again, the missionary to Turkey, who was just released last October. We've got Carlos Whitaker, and he's a YouTube sensation, and I'm not familiar with Carlos. And then Mark, I can't even pronounce his last name. I don't want to butcher it. Will you help me with that?
Demaz.
Okay.
It looks like it looks. Demaz.
Okay. We know about Andrew. Can you tell us about Carlos and Mark?
So Mark Demaz will open the convention on Sunday night. He founded the Mosaic Church in Little Rock, Arkansas, and has built one of the most effective multi-ethnic churches in the country. And he's known for that. He's done a lot of speaking on that subject of how to develop a multi-ethnic community. And he's written books and so forth. So he's going to be opening our event. Carlos Whitaker will close the event. Carlos he's in a sense, I would call him an entertainer. He's a former recording artist. He's a social media maven. But he became famous when he posted a video of him and his children in the car singing Single Ladies. And you'd have to go to our website, and there's actually a link to the video on our website that you can go see it. And chances are you have seen this a couple of years ago when it was out. And but now, as a result of that, he has kind of cultivated that into a national speaking, motivational speaking tour. And quite a dynamic speaker. So he's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure quite challenging to close out our event.
The opportunities that by Christ allowing us to be born in this generation, at this time of history, the opportunities to reach people literally around the world at the drop, and just touch your finger to a button and your message goes across the world. It's just, I can't even really contain it. I think about it and I wonder at it and I'm amazed at it and grateful for the opportunity. There's also a responsibility that goes with that as well, isn't there, Lamar?
There is. Yeah, there is. Absolutely.
Takes both sides. Blessing is on one, responsibility on the other. Let's see. Just checking those comments and questions. All right, 28 workshops. Here's one I particularly like: avoiding silos in publication creation. Now, sounds like maybe grandchildren are there.
Yes, there are.
It happens. Don't worry one bit about it. Just don't worry one bit. We roll with it.
I had warned them.
Well, that was 30 minutes ago at least. They've forgotten since then.
They're home from school early today, and they come here before their parents pick them up.
Nice for everybody. I appreciate the fact that Voice of the Martyrs is the organization, the ministry that's going to be presenting this. They're going to show attendees from planning their editorial content and their content strategy to scheduling photographers and writers and designing all of their publication. They're going to show you the nuts and bolts of their process to create each individual, not episode, but edition. Yes. And they're really heavily involved. They're doing several different things, aren't they? The Voice of the Martyrs.
They are.
They're
actually doing a number of sessions for us. Their staff, Cheryl's involved with a couple of them, and Todd Nettleton's going to be speaking. He's going to be talking about podcasting. We've never talked about podcasting before at our event because we don't think of podcasting as broadcasting. We don't think of Facebook Live and so forth, but these are all new technologies that if you're trying to get content out, that's what you need to be doing. And so that's part of what they'll be giving.
There's several different, I've got several, not all 28. I'm not going to read you 28 headlines, but titles, but I want to share some of them with you. The one that you mentioned earlier from Our Daily Bread, devotional writing from the heart to the heart. This is intriguing. The place of technology in the story of God. Now that sounds interesting to me. Finding freshness and joy in writing about the Bible. We can't say that. How Christian publications wrestle with self-censorship in finding and telling the truth. And that's actually going to be a round table. That sounds interesting. How many people are going to be involved in that? Do you know?
Well, there will be four moderators. I shouldn't say moderators. There'll be four individuals who will talk about the issue from their perspective for a few minutes. And then they will each go to a table, and then the table will discuss the issue. The whole idea of self-censorship is, how do we deal with things that we don't want to talk about? If you're an organizational publication and something goes wrong in the organization, well, you don't want to talk about it. So that's self-censorship, but maybe you ought to be talking about it. So these are some really tough things to wrestle with. And I think that'll be a real good. So we're doing 2 sessions on censorship. One has to do with students on the university campus. Taylor University had a major story come out about a year ago that students put out about how they were being censored. And this got some national headlines. And so one of the faculty members from Taylor is coming in along with some of the other faculty from other schools, and they're going to talk about the place for and how this works at the student level with student publications. And then, of course, the other session is on our own publications. How do we deal with this? What do we write about? What don't we write about? Why don't we write about it? If we do write about it, how do we do that?
Those are deeper questions, and it takes time to. That doesn't just come to you naturally, does it? You got to ponder that and pray about it.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Once you're actually setting a policy, the first time out, you're setting a policy that might need to be changed or updated in times to come. But when we forget sometimes that we're not just doing an isolated event with a Facebook Live program or a magazine publication, that we're setting precedents more often than we realize, I think.
One of the things that some organizations deal with, this could be a denominational publication or a parachurch organization, is you have the editorial department of the magazine. They want to do this story, but the development side, the fundraising side, says, no, you can't do that story. That doesn't make us look good. So there's the PR versus reality. And you have these 2 forces within an organization. They kind of go head to head sometimes. Yes. And, the development side only wants you to talk about the wonderful and good things and things that'll bring in more money. And the editorial side says, but this is a story we need to be telling.
I feel that tension.
Yeah.
Mary Lester says that she knows Mark DeMoss. She says he is a fabulous speaker. Mosaic was founded in Little Rock, and that's where she's living now. So good to know, Mary. Thanks for telling us that. Just a couple of others, because there are 28, but a couple of others really hit my interest. And you mentioned earlier Dean Nelson talking to strangers, how to craft and conduct interviews that will get anyone to talk. There was one other one that I particularly thought was fantastic. And you mentioned it, freedom that's not free, First Amendment principles in a Christian college or university. Okay. Yes. So we have covered that. So let me just quickly go over some of the organizations that the presenters are representing. This is not an exhaustive list, but it hits a lot of the highlights. Our Daily Bread, Infinity Concepts, Mosaic Church, Dallas Seminary, College of the Ozarks, Point Loma Nazarene University, Taylor University, John Brown University, Biola University, Voice of the Martyrs, Christianity Today, Christ and Pop Culture. So can you tell me, Omar, now, this is the first time I've covered the convention, so it's very heavy on university faculty. And I know that there must be a reason for that. Can you explain that to me? Or help me understand that?
Well, yeah, let me think that through. It's not by plans. I think sometimes it just kind of happens.
Okay.
They obviously, university professors know how to teach. When it comes to educational seminars like this, we try to be very careful to find people who not only know the craft, but they can deliver it. Yeah. Some of the best writers are lousy speakers.
True.
Some of the best designers are not good speakers. A lot of writers and editors or designers are introverts. They don't even like people. Well, I shouldn't say it that way.
It's true. They
don't like being in front of people. They're used to being behind a screen, doing their thing. If they are talking to somebody, it's by telephone. We've had some sessions in the past put on by people who are at the top of their game, but they just couldn't deliver it. So typically with a college professor, you get an experienced speaker. So that's part of it. We do have a close affiliation with an organization called the Advisors of Christian Collegiate Media. These are the faculty advisors for student-produced publications on Christian campuses. and we often draw from them as speakers as well. And then whenever we're in an area, we draw from the local area. So being in Oklahoma City, we're coming from College of the Ozarks, John Brown University, Dallas Seminary is just three hours down the road. So that's where some of it's coming from as well.
Okay. So speaking of which, I meant to ask you this earlier. Does the convention travel year by year, Lamar?
We move all over the country. Oklahoma City this year, Orlando last year, Chicago the year before, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Denver, Anaheim, California. We just go all over.
You certainly do.
And we move around the regions of the country so that our members in that area that don't want to fly can come in. This is our first time in the Central Heartland.
Oh.
We've been to Dallas, and we've been to Springfield decades ago. Often we get to Chicago, and we don't get anything in between. So this is kind of our first time in the middle of the country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Y'all better come.
You better show up. Judy Morrow says, I love Voice of the Martyrs USA. I had the privilege and joy of meeting some of their wonderful folks from their organization at David C. Cook in Colorado Springs before I wrote the I Am in her devotional. I'm messing that up, Judy. I apologize. I'm not sure what you're saying there. Such a humbling experience to write about today's persecuted church. Yes. Dan Breen is here. Hello, Dan. So good to see you. Glad you're here. He's asking, can you offer any tiny little hint where EPA might be looking at for the location of the 2019 conference? Now, that's actually the one we're talking about right now, Dan. So I'm so glad that you're here. Oklahoma City is the answer. Oklahoma City. April 7th through the 9th. Mary says, where next year, perhaps? Are you ready to reveal that?
We are not. But we know where we're going. We announced that at the end of our convention in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
That's when you'll find out.
Okay, that makes sense. And there's so many. How long does it take you to plan this?
Oh, well, next year's convention, we already have our keynote speakers and our morning forums booked.
Okay.
And that's, I would like to think we would always that far ahead, but we're not always that far ahead. We only booked Andrew Brunson a month ago, so.
Really? And he was available. That's interesting.
Yeah. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, but we typically in a year and a half, we're now talking about 2021 as to where we're going to go. Mm-hmm. And this summer we'll be doing hotel site visits as to in the region where we plan to go. And we'll sign a contract for 2021 probably in the end of the summer. Okay. And then we start planning that. So 2 years. It's
an ongoing process, isn't it? It's very lots of moving pieces.
Yeah.
Dan Breen says 2020 is the one he was really asking about, and
Dan Breen, he's one of our members,
and Lamar is going to reveal that. The leadership will reveal that at the end of this year's conference. Dan,
it won't be in Oklahoma City.
Oh gracious! Oh my goodness! I always like to show the conference website. There's just something about seeing it that people can solidify that in their mind. So let me show my screen. And this is the website for Evangelical Press Association, obviously. This is not the website for the convention. This is for the association itself. Then you can go here and choose convention, and you'll be taken to the convention information. Not every conference or convention is that easy to negotiate. To navigate their website. This is Oklahoma City, EPA 19, Christian Media Convention. And the first time that I saw that headline, Lamar, I thought it was about social media. So that's, my filter as an online marketer. I was glad that you're very clear on your message and what your core values are and what your mission is. I like that. It's easy. I don't have to dig for those things that are important to me. They're not applicable front and they're not who your keynoters are, and they're not your location, but they're important pieces of information that I need to know if I want to be associated with that organization, your organization. And you don't hide those things. Some people unwittingly hide them. I don't think that is on purpose at all. They just don't think that that's necessary.
Right, yeah. What made you think it was social media at first?
Because I have a filter I'm an online marketer, so I have a filter of social media when I saw a media convention.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the shortfall was within me, if there was a shortfall. Let's see. All right. Is there anything that I think that we've covered everything fairly well, but I want to make sure that I didn't miss anything that's particularly important to you, Lamar.
Well, yes, you did hit it very well. And of course, going to the website, epaconvention.com, you can learn about all there is to know. The workshop titles, the descriptions are up there. There's actually 2 more that we're waiting for. All the speakers are listed with their photos and who they are. The schedule is there. The workshop schedule has not yet been put up as far as which workshops happen at each time. That should probably be up in another week. We're just getting them. We have them all assigned, but we're waiting for the speakers to confirm that, yes, that time slot works for them.
Okay. So let me show you, viewers, if you're not familiar with the website, the homepage has lots of information. Keep scrolling down, and you will get to, here's the information about the morning forums that we talked about with the 4 gentlemen on Tuesday morning about biblical literacy, and Andrew Brunson's live interview with Dean Nelson. The other way around, Dean is going to be interviewing Mr. Brunson on Monday morning. Then you get to the keynoters. Then you get to speakers, links to speakers. This is the only place that I saw the schedule. So,
right. So there's 3 tabs for each day. And so that's the basic schedule. It does not include which workshops occur in which block. And we do have a mobile app. Our conventions, we use a mobile app, and everything is on there. It's really quite cool.
Oh,
and we've been told by the developers that our usage, which is 75%, is higher than most conventions.
Yeah. 75%? That's unbelievable.
Yeah, a lot of our people are using that.
How do they get access to that? Is that pre-conference information accessible?
It's an app that they will download onto their phone. We usually get it set up about a month ahead of time.
Okay.
And there's really not much need to get it earlier because people aren't using it for that reason. But when they get there, then it's very quick to be able to see. You can actually you can set your own schedule so that you can pick all your workshops and everything you're going to go to, and then you go to My Schedule and you see exactly what it is you want to go to, what room it's located in. You can see the speaker and the bio, the description. It's all there. And then you can network with each other. You can send each other messages. You can post almost like a Facebook page. So the mobile apps are very cool, and they're very nice.
I've heard of them. I've never experienced one, but I've heard that they're very, very handy. That's really.
Well, I was just at a conference in North Carolina for meeting planners, and I use the mobile app all the time. That was the easiest way to, hey, what's next? Boom, right there it is.
Those are not available to me with my vision problems, so I just hear about them, and I know that they're beneficial to some people. It just doesn't I'm not qualified for them. Excuse me. Judy Gordon-Morrow says that she's helping me understand what she had mentioned earlier, that what she was saying was an actual title. There's a story behind the N. The letter N is in Nancy, Lamar, since it is the letter/symbol that stands for Nazarene. Muslims use the symbol to indicate those in the Middle East who are Christians and will emblazon it on their homes with spray paint. Thank you very much, Judy. Appreciate that clarification. All right. Mr. Lamar Keener, it was so wonderful to have you today.
And everything worked.
Hallelujah.
No problems.
Thank the Father. Thank you, Lord. We appreciate that. We're so glad that you're here. Whether you're watching live or on the replay, we just appreciate you being here. This has been episode number 238 of Marketers on a Mission, Evangelical Press Association's Christian Media Convention. Executive Director Lamar Keener. That's a mouthful. Lamar's actually the executive director of EPA, and he's telling us today about the media convention. Tomorrow, Marlene Bagnall is going to join us. You know, she's the director of 2 Christian Writers Conferences, one in Colorado, one in Philadelphia. We're going to highlight her May conference, which is the one in Colorado. That's coming up. Later in the year, we will highlight her Philadelphia conference. We're here every weekday for you to serve you at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern. This program is designed exclusively for you to help you learn the craft of professional writing and speaking from those who are already doing it. Why? Because your audience is online. Christ has gifted you with a message. They are hungry for it. Your unique message, your unique story of deliverance, and the wisdom and insights that the Holy Spirit has taught you. They are hungry for it, and they are online waiting for you. We hope to pray to help you get prepared, stay prepared, get online and share your message for God's glory. Because we know, and you do too, that some people's lives will be changed and some people's eternities will be changed. And that is why we're here. So wonderful to have you. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Thank you again, Lamar.
Thank you.